You always feel like some sort of dance number could be coming on. Right? Yeah, exactly. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Granny's PC, episode 207, on this wonderful Labor Day, which is odd because like, I had a barbecue and did everything the weekend, but like today is kind of like the chill day, you know, for it, right? Before we go there,
it's called Labor Day for irony. You know, it's labor. Relax.
Exactly. Just take it easy for a minute, and we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, thanks for joining us. As always, if you're joining us on the Facebook live stream, if you're joining us on YouTube, or wherever you found your audio on the podcast. I am Ed, and with me as always is Jason. Jason, what's up? What's going on?
How's it going? Happy Labor Day. My sincerest apologies to all of the teachers, all the New York City teachers, because today is our last day. We go back tomorrow. So, R.I.P. Summer. Tell a little story while Ed's sharing out the show. So my son loves movies, right? I've talked about that in the show before. So we decided that for his birthday in February, we're gonna rent out a movie theater for him, and just get him and his friends and a bunch of popcorn, all that. So we went out to like Long Island because they're just cheaper out there. They're nice mom and pop ones out there. Mm-hmm. And so we wound up going on Saturday. And very nice one called like the Belmont Playhouse or something like that. But anyway, we're gonna have his birthday there. But since we're there, we're like, let's see a movie. So the only thing that we could see that was appropriate for him was Bad Guys 2.
Oh, okay, I've heard of that.
Which I have to say I enjoyed. Like, you know, if you're a parent taking your kid, I wouldn't have seen it on my own. But if you're a parent taking your kid to a movie, you could do much worse. Tasty's in it. Our friend from Peacemaker. I always call her Tasty because that's how I met her from Orange Is the New Black. But
okay.
Adebayo,
yeah.
Adebayo's in it. Natasha Lyonne's in it. Who I love, Natasha Lyonne, and you can tell like I'm terrible. If you remember, we did the Super Pets episodes. I'm terrible at hearing the celebrities. But her, she's like, hey, it's me. And I'm like, oh, the bird's Natasha Lyonne. I get this one.
That's why she was like perfect casting for the Ben Grimm Brooklyn girlfriend in First Steps. I thought she was perfect.
I agree. I love her. But yeah, it was really charming. It was really fun. There was some stuff for some jokes for the adults that I thought landed pretty well. Craig from The Office. I always forget his name, but he's the guy who played the supervisor of the grunts.
Oh, Craig Robinson.
Craig Robinson is the shark, and I fucking love Craig Robinson. He's really funny in this. So, yeah, I would say if you got it looking for something to bring your kids to, Bad Guys 2 is what you could do worse.
You also saw something else, by the way, that I was excited to chat with you quickly about.
I did. I saw my wife and I and our friends, the Harmon, Ginny and her husband. We all went to go see Weapons together. Mm-hmm. And I loved it.
Me too.
I mean, this is no spoilers, but I walked out of there like I'm not even gonna say it was scary. I mean, they got one or two good jump scares, but I'm not a jump scare guy. But it was tense. It holds this incredibly tense moment for like 98% of the movie, mm-hmm. And then it does something that it made me laugh. I mean, it does something that I think is hysterical, and it just deflates all of that, and it was perfect. So it's like tense. Oh shit! All my tension's gone.
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed Weapons, man. I thought it was really good. Also, I'm glad. I had a feeling you were going to enjoy it. So, and I do like the way that they break the story down from each character's perspective, which I thought was really interesting.
I do too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the first time we've ever seen that, but like I thought it was well done with this.
No, but it's very well done, and I think it was done to a purpose to allow the twist or the secret to remain secret for longer, you know, because mm-hmm. you get the story disjointed, like you get different parts at different times, so you get to have all of this story without actually knowing what the twist or the secret or the reason is. And then when you get to a certain story, it's like, all right, this is the story, we explain it all. And I thought I liked that. I thought it was like, yeah, really save it to the end.
Yeah, exactly. Because I felt like there was at one point where I was like, where the hell is this going? I admit, I actually didn't even know where the hell this was going at one point. And then I'm like, oh. And then I feel like it was almost instant. Like there was a scene or two after that where it started to become a little bit more clear. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm fully on board again. Like they may have lost me for like 30 seconds or maybe even a minute. And I'm like, all right, now I'm back on board. Full steam ahead. Till the end. It was good stuff. It's funny you brought up jump scares because I had my first slight jump scare because I'm also not a jump scare guy. I mean, I think we're just like so ingrained with horror at this point. Like me and you have seen so many horror movies that you kind of see it coming from a mile away.
Yeah. I'm starting to count it down. Like, oh, there was a misdirect, a rule of threes. That third one's going to be a jump scare.
Yeah. I actually didn't watch Jaws for so long. There is something that actually made me like flinch for a second.
Oh shit! What was the jump scare in Jaws?
There was the scene where Richard Dreyfuss is in the what was his character's name? I completely forgot for a second. He's in the water and he's like scuba diving and stuff. And there was the head that pops up out of the like rubble from a deceased body. Shit. And I completely forgot about that. And then like the whole theater kind of like jumped with it. And I was like, I can't remember the last time that happened. And this is a 50-year-old movie that I've seen like 1,000 times. And I completely forgot about it. I just haven't seen it in probably like 30 years maybe or something like that. 25 years. I haven't watched Jaws in forever.
17 and forever. This was the first time you saw it in the theater, right?
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, because I mean, that was before our time. And I don't even remember any other re-releases. No.
Yeah, I don't either.
The whole re-release thing I've gotten into as I've gotten older. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I wish there was a movie theater that just played old movies. And I guess there is, but it never, like in the city there are a couple, but they never play the ones I want to see.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I should have. I was going to text you, but I just, again, like I know we've been working around like just a really obscene schedule recently.
Yeah.
And when Ninja Turtles re-released, I meant to just reach out to you because I wanted to go see it. It was out for like a week.
Oh shit!
But it was
I didn't even realize that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I didn't even realize that was out. I would have taken Finn to see that.
They just had some really obscure times. Like there was 1:00 in the afternoon, which I'm like, all right, it's the summer, so I get it. But I'm like, I was at work, so I'm like, I can't go do that. And then I don't know, by like 7:00, and it was also not. I don't think it was playing everywhere. I felt like it was less and less, and then after a while, I'm like, something, whatever. I gave up on it. In 5 years, when they do another anniversary re-release, I'll go see it again.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, but it was, and I will say, as far as Jaws, the restoration for IMAX and 4K was pretty immaculate. It looked and sounded awesome. And now, again, for a movie that was made in the 70s, like I thought, that's why I think I was so impressed by it. Is that I'm like, this movie looks pretty damn clear and sharp, and the sound was really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. I also didn't realize it was out for the weekend. I saw it Thursday night. I thought it was just a one-night deal, but apparently it finished number 2 at the box office this weekend.
Holy shit.
What is that about? I mean, the theater was packed when I went to see it.
This is going to open up the next Hollywood trend of, why spend the money to remake the movies? Just re-release them. And we're never going to have a new movie again.
That'll finally buck the trend that you were complaining about recently about the reboots and legacy sequels stuff. Like, something? Let's just cut to the chase. We're just going to give it a damn movie again, and that's it.
That's right. Just give you the same fucking movie. Shove this nostalgia down your goddamn stupid throat. Eat it. Yeah. We will.
We'll clean it up. We'll make it look as best as we can. And then just go with it. Because there is other stuff. Like, with that, they announced that they're all... And it seems to be on IMAX. I saw there was, like, Apollo 13 is getting their anniversary re-release.
Okay.
And Back to the Future, which I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty much on board with. I was going to tell you about that.
I'm going to see that. Yeah, I will see that. Let me know when you're going.
Yeah, I want to see Back to the Future on IMAX, like, for sure.
Back to the Future is legit one of my favorite movies.
I love Back to the
10.
Future.
I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, I remember seeing the second and third one in the theater. I don't think I saw the first one in the theater.
I didn't see any of them in the theater.
Yeah, I remember the second one. I saw it like Cross Bay or some shit like that. Yeah, I think it was Cross Bay. Yeah, I did. But yeah, we'll chat about that otherwise, because I'm sure that a lot of our friends would be interested in seeing Back to the Future in the theater.
Yeah, that's one to go see in the theater.
Yeah,
you built a time machine out of a DeLorean. I think I could quote almost every line in that movie.
The running joke with Courtney Grogan now has just been great though, because I keep going to it, because we had mentioned about she didn't know. I think she didn't know that The Rock was like a wrestler, and she knew him as an actor first. And it was like, right. Dwayne Johnson, the actor. So now it's anything. It's like John Cena, the actor.
That's awesome.
Oh man. All right, we'll get to John Cena, the actor, in a little bit.
The actor.
you gotta nail the whole Christopher Lloyd to sell that. All right, well, let's get to it. We got Alien Earth episodes 3 and 4. Like, drop the spoiler warning for those. I mean, 3's been out for a minute, so but 4 did drop. Actually, it was 6 days ago now. Yeah, dude, I am absolutely loving this show. I mean, really loving it. Like, this show is, for me, is built upon episodes 1, the promise that episodes 1 and 2, set up, and we both loved the start of it. And I think this continues asking those heady questions that we went ahead and we thought were being set up in the beginning. So yeah, I don't know. This is, I loved Peacemaker also. Whatever, spoiler for that. But Alien Earth for me is the show right now. What about you?
Yeah, no, I agree. This was great, and it's because I don't know what to expect anymore. But it's gripped me. It's interesting. I like the characters. They're doing shit with that eyeball creature, and that's what I had said I wanted to see. I was like, fuck the xenomorph. I want to see that eyeball creature. We get eyeball creature this week.
Oh yes. Oh, we absolutely sure do. But
yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this. The characters and the way they've kept the cyborg, the guy who works for Weyland Yutani, the way they kept him in the loop and relevant since they're no longer in the crash. I thought that was interesting, how he's kind of infiltrating through the kids. Really, really well written show. Very, very intelligent.
Yeah, that's another thing. I'm glad we can start off by talking about that, because episode 3 does seem to really start setting that part up. Where I was trying to pull up the names here right now. Morrow. So Morrow is the cyborg that works for Weyland Yutani, and you're seeing where he's going to go ahead and he's determined to complete his mission. Like, he is going to stay true. He's the company man, if you want to say, who's going to follow through with this.
He gives a great monologue about why.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like, oh, I believe in the company.
No.
It's like, you sent me on a mission that I've been in stasis for 60 years. Everyone I know is dead, or 100 years, whatever it is. Like, everyone I know is dead. This is I don't have a life. This is my life. This mission, this is my life's work. I have to get it done. And I like that, because it's more nuanced than bad guys do bad things. It's, no, everyone's the hero in their own head. And this guy's right. He's lost, this is his life's work. He's going to finish it. Because without that, then all of the time that he spent, and he even says something like, when you watch your crew be killed, which gives you the sense he didn't try to stop it, right? He didn't try to save that one. But I at first I thought he was setting them up, but when I watched him talk about it, I was like, no, he actually did care. He just realized he didn't do anything about it. So it did kind of affect him. So I thought that was interesting too. It gives him a bit more depth.
No, for sure, because we were under the impression, you're right, that he was totally setting the crew up so they can hatch the xenomorphs and have like a symbiotic thing and just start, birthing them. But you're right, his whole thing here completely gives a different aspect. It makes you look back on that, what happened in episode 1 completely differently now. That he's...
Right. And you get the sense that the xenomorphs got out on accident, as they always do. Like anyone listening, and if you come across xenomorph eggs, just leave them. Just walk away.
On. Yeah. We've seen it a few times by now, and then it doesn't work out well for those who are trying to, gather this harness, this power for themselves. It never works out for them.
No. Like if you come up to a species with acid blood, you're not gonna fucking break the species. You're not gonna weaponize this species. They will just kill you. They've got acid blood. How much more of a survival thing do you need?
Yeah, you're toast. That's pretty much what it is. Well, Morrow also does give a interesting callback line to David from the Prometheus. I think it was Prometheus, or was it Alien Covenant, where he asks the question, while he's talking to the kid that's in there, Slightly, when he's talking to him, and they're communicating, which I don't. By the way, I don't know if I missed it, but I'm not 100% sure how that works. Their communication.
There's a blink and you miss it in episode 4 when the head robot figures out what's going on between them, and you see that Morrow put like something in him, like in his neck. And they show you that. So I think that's what it is. I think he placed that communication device in him when they had that conversation. But again, that's a blink and you miss it. Like they show that for a second. In the 4th episode. Yeah,
because I know in episode 4, Kirsch is able to listen in on this whole thing too. So he's tapped into their communication thing. But I was saying what Morrow does though, he acts as like he's breaking it down. He's asking a lot of questions. To this kid, essentially, we'll refer to him as a kid because it's part of the question.
Yeah,
is when is a machine not a machine? Because that's been one of the big dilemmas that this show is proposed on, with a lot of the. I think they do refer to them as the Lost Boys, so we can kind of go with that. It's just like when is the consciousness that's thrown into these synthetics? Who is it? Is it still the child that was sick, or did the child die? And that's to me, that's been the most, besides the xenomorph stuff and like that. That's always cool and stuff. But the moral question that this show asks and proposes through the Lost Boys has been what's really kept me which I'm just eating up. That I really find it interesting. And Morrow is basically, playing on all of this kid in episode 3. We know in 4 he steps it up of how he kind of has leverage on him. When in episode 3 he asks his name, he gets all the information on him. He's setting him up. Obviously, that this is a child consciousness. He doesn't catch on to this. He's completely oblivious, and gives it up eventually. And therefore, Morrow uses it to chillingly go seek out his family, and his basically lets them know what could happen. Oh yeah, he is not going to stop. Nothing's going to stop him from completing his mission. I feel like until you just totally just take him out.
Yeah,
and that would be.
No, absolutely. And what he tells the kid's like, I can't get the egg. He's like, I don't need the egg. Just get a person to stand near the egg. Something will attach to it. Wait 3 days. It'll fall off. Then bring them to me.
Yeah, and well, we also do find out what at least the belief is who he's trying to set up to be this this human. Yeah, is Wendy's brother. Herman.
Yeah, because he's jealous.
Yeah.
Because
No.
he comes in and they're letting Wendy's brothers stick around. They give him a job, and they've already had, they've already been conversations like, oh, Wendy's the favorite and this and that, and not Lex Luthor even says that. Like, yeah, she's my favorite because she's the first. But so she gets to have her brother, and he comes back after having this conversation where he just hurt his mother and realized that his family's in danger. And he flips out. How come he gets to be here? How come we don't get our siblings here? We all have families. So that also, I thought, it's interesting. It brings up an interesting thing, right? Like, these are kids in machine bodies. Why can't they have their family around them? Why, like, someone else asked the question in episode 4, did we best case scenario create AIs who think they're human? Or worst case scenario, did we murder children?
Yeah. And that was the one of the doctors that is here, Arthur. He goes ahead and asks the question to Cavalier.
And he says, answer me not as my boss, but as my wife. So they're married. They're like, this is a realistic conversation here. So yeah, so I thought that's interesting. They really are pushing it home. And now that I think about it, I think Kirsch and Morrow are like opposites. They're like, but like opposites of the same coin, because they both push the narrative of what does it mean to be a machine. But Kirsch is doing it to try to open the kids' minds, and Morrow's doing it to manipulate. But they're very similar. They're very similar characters, and I actually thought it was great when they faced off, and Morrow actually kind of wasn't the tough guy, like to Kirsch. I thought that was cool.
No, yeah, because I do think, at least at this point, it seems like Kirsch, I guess, does have the best intentions for the Lost Boys and somewhat in mind, but
yeah, because he's also doesn't want them being sent into the field, Kirsch, right? But he's always being told to shut up and do what he's told because he's a robot, and so he does, and that's going to come to something, I'm sure. But he's always like trying to make sure that they're taken care of as children, not as tools.
Mm-hmm. And the couple that you had mentioned, they are, they're also, put this way, all the people in Prodigy outside of Cavalier are asking, or basically are all on board right now. Like, what the hell are we doing? We sent these children in these synthetic bodies into a search and rescue situation. One of them's faced off with a fucking xenomorph, like straight up, and like we're being completely reckless with this whole thing. Which us as the viewers, we've been, pretty much on board with that like since day one. But now they're, the characters inside are starting to question this whole thing. And he just doesn't care because he is either on his mission to, he claims it's not wealth and power and all of that, but he claims it's not wealth. I think it is more of a power play against Yutani and the others.
Yeah, I think like Lex Luthor. We make the joke, but I really do think he is very, very Lex Luthor-ish in Dawn of Justice, which isn't a slight. I actually think I like this guy. I think it works well.
Mm-hmm.
But
works well here.
Right, exactly. But I think for him, it's not even about power. It's about, I'm smarter than you.
Yeah,
I can do this because I'm going to do this because it's going to prove how better and smarter I am than you. And I think that's what he's always trying to prove himself.
Mm-hmm. And he wants to prove himself over Yutani. And, we'll say the other three entities that we haven't really seen yet, which I'm sure we will at some point. The companies, because they said there were 5 companies that took over.
Oh, I'm loving the history, because we had a little history lesson of, people used to vote for elected officials or vote for, for things, but that didn't work out. So the companies thankfully came in and took over.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Oh my God, it's like what I'm living through now.
Yeah, essentially, right? we'll call one of them Apple. We'll call the other one like Amazon. We'll keep going from there. Tesla,
exactly. Don't forget Microsoft.
Microsoft. Yeah. So that whole thing has been the whole thing with Morrow has been really chilling in there too. And then we can go ahead and look what Wendy's going through. So Wendy, we find out towards the end of episode 3, can communicate with the xenomorphs. Like she hears that Kirsch is dissecting one of them and is screaming out essentially. And Wendy's able to hear them on a certain wavelength that's there, and that gets exposed, and then they address that. But once Cavalier hears about that, he is all in. Like he's locked in on Wendy. He sees like the potential of what he can do because his thinking is, I still got these xenomorphs, and he, of course, like Yutani, trying to harness them and gather them and weaponize them or whatever the hell he wants to do with them. Plus, he also does make a comment too, though. Go ahead.
No, I think I was about to make the same point you were. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I mean, the other synthetic that's in this, I think it's Adam, that he goes ahead and makes the thing is like, dude, we don't have anything to do with this shit. Why don't you just give him back to Yutani and move on? And he was like, well, I don't want to wake up with a xenomorph in my belly one day and have it ripping out either, because he thinks that's what Yutani would do to take him out, his competitors would do.
Right.
And so I want it for myself.
And maybe it is.
He's probably right. I don't doubt that he's wrong. It's like, like from what we know of Weyland Yutani over, this franchise is, they're a bunch of assholes too, who treat their, employees like shit too.
They're a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I mean, exactly. They all are. They're all assholes who treat their employees like shit.
Exactly. Sorry, you were saying?
No. That was it. I was just making a comment, But before we move off on this, right? If we look at our top 5 evil corporations today, Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft, Apple, and what's our 5th one?
That's a good question.
Do we have a 5th one? Is it just Disney? Disney.
Some will say Disney. Yeah, some will say Disney. I'm sure we can throw them in there if we want.
Yeah,
we enjoy a lot of their work.
Well, I'm just saying, Disney's. I enjoy a lot of their work, but they are incredibly evil when it comes to money. I mean, they have went after litigation to a middle school teacher who showed one of their movies once. I mean, Disney is the sole reason that our copyright laws are fucked up, because every time Mickey Mouse comes up for copyright, it lapses, because at some point you just can't keep renewing it. It goes into public work. They go to court and get that date pushed off.
Yeah.
So things that were in public domain then go right back under copyright because they don't want to give up the copy. So yeah, they're kind of evil. We enjoy some of their stuff. That's right. All right. So clearly the Weyland Yutani is Tesla, because Tesla would be the one who really, 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 really wants the xenomorphs. Do you agree?
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, I can see that.
Okay, who'd be doing the AI shit? Like I'm going to create children into AI.
Oh, see, it's funny you mentioned that now, because now my mind immediately went to Meta. Like, I can see Mark Zuckerberg wanting to do some shit like that. So we might have more than
all right. So maybe
am I wrong, or do you think it would be like?
Okay, so no, you're right. You're right. That's a Zuckerberg thing. Zuckerberg is Lex Luthor, essentially, from Man of
I mean, essentially, you're
Batman
right.
v Superman.
Yeah.
All right. No, that's good to know. I think we got to keep the allegory up. The more we learn about these corporations, we have to figure out what the allegory is. So right now we got
on there.
That's right. All right. I'm satisfied for now. Thank you,
counselor. Yeah. So then again, Wendy's being used now, and she's been thrust into, all right, you need to communicate with the xenomorphs. and he sees that as his in, again, to try to like control them and everything like that. But at what point, like, was there something further than that though? Like, do you think there's some sort of further connection with Wendy and the xenomorphs, like that she can hear them on this level? My mind keeps going back to her interaction with the xenomorph that she killed, because I don't know, like, we didn't fully see that entire fight, how it ended. So that's why I have questions.
That's true. That's true. I don't know where they're going with this, to be honest. I mean, at some point she's gonna be able to communicate and have a conversation with the xenomorph. That I'm fairly certain of. But to what end, I don't know.
Because at the end of episode 4, we also see her, one of the xenomorphs is hatched and is running at her, but she like starts petting it.
Yeah.
And is like, and it's not trying to rip a hole through her or attack her or anything like that.
No, but why would it, right? Like,
yeah,
it's like what's his face said. Mora said to the kid, they're not. So I think, they're not. That would be like them attacking your computer, as far as they're concerned. There's no meat there. They're hunters. They're. But I think the fact that she's able to communicate with it and it doesn't want to attack her, that's the thing that makes her special. Like, I think if I could communicate with an alien, it would still rip the shit out of me.
Of course.
But because there's nothing there for it, that's what makes it special. So I think that's where they're going with it.
Okay, because I started thinking more or less back to, my mind was jumping around to what the hell was it? Not after the 4th Alien movie, with the clone of Ripley.
Resurrection?
Yes. So that's where my mind was thinking, because that clone of Ripley obviously was seen as like some sort of like mother to the alien. And that's why she, remember she was able to communicate and stuff like that, and like saw her in a different light. So that's why I started to wonder if that's where they were going with something like that. I don't know.
I think the clone of Ripley, if I remember correctly, the reason that is because she's part alien herself. They use part alien DNA.
Is. Yes, that's what what I'm getting at. I did wonder if there was something happened with her where the xenomorph somehow latched on.
Okay.
I don't fully have my theory formed out with that, but it seems to be something there. I kind of feel like we could have. Oh, why is Siri trying to jump in here? Trying to join the show. Stop.
No, Siri.
Yeah, I don't know. That's where no AI on the show. So you see, AI was mentioned. We were talking about it, and now like they're trying to get involved. Yeah, that's been the thing I've been hanging on to since the end of episode 4, and throughout 3. It's just that I just still feel like there was some sort of splicing or latching onto with Wendy from the xenomorph. I could be completely off base on this, but they haven't fully fleshed that out.
I think they haven't. So yeah, I think that's as viable as anything, and I like that idea.
Okay. And well, there was also the other thing. There was another storyline that was going on here with Nibs. So she's the other synthetic child, member of the Lost Boys that we've encountered here, who apparently in episode 4 is claiming she's pregnant.
Yeah, and clearly something happened. Like, so scared on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
The eye monster really messed her up, and I think and then at the she gets violent almost. She gets scary with the doctor to the point where they call in a code 3, which we don't know what that is yet. But I don't know. Clearly, this robot's having a breakdown.
Yeah, she's having a pretty much a mental breakdown here, which you have to imagine would happen with these child consciousnesses thrust into these synthetic bodies, thrown into these extreme situations immediately. There's going to be some psychological stuff going on here, and I think that's where they're exploring with this. Is she's claiming pregnancy. The doctor, the female doctor, she breaks it down and is like, you do know how this works, right? Like, this is how humans do that. You're not human. And you didn't have any sort of interactions like this. So what the hell are you talking about? Essentially.
And she says, God gave me this baby.
Yeah. Which is like opening up a whole nother thing for this series to explore. So I don't know. I like they're just like really there's so much going on this show with moral questions that I'm. And again, there's a xenomorph situation going around here.
Well, you know what? They're doing this right because the xenomorph needed to be the least interesting part of the show for it to work. I think because we've sat with the xenomorph for so many movies that it needs to be there. It needs to be the entrance into this world. But you have to give us more than the xenomorph for this to be good, and they are. Mm-hmm. I mean, as you said, they're giving us good characters, good moral quandaries to think over. The fucking eyeball monster. I cannot wait to see that pay off. That thing scares the shit out of me. They test it. They put the sheep in a container, and then they let the eyeball monster in. And it goes, and it fucking takes its eye out, burrows in it, stands up, and just starts staring and swaying. It's fucking scary.
Yeah, it definitely is. And obviously, that alien as well, which I don't think they gave it a name yet. They definitely has some sort of like bad intentions.
Oh,
going forward as well. And I do love the fact that there are more aliens than just the xenomorph. We have other hostile aliens.
Me too.
To deal with.
Yeah, me too. I mean, especially like not even that they all should have been on the Prometheus planet, right? Because I don't think they should have been. Although if I remember Prometheus, that planet is full of some dangerous shit outside of the xenomorphs. But if their whole purpose is to go and scout deep space for insanely dangerous life forms to fuel the conflict of the show, why would they just go and grab the xenomorphs? Why wouldn't they go from planet to planet looking for things?
Yeah. No, it makes sense. And of course, Yutani wants all of their intentions were to have it all for themselves. And now you have, shit running amok over here with Prodigy.
Not good.
No. All right. Anything else you
want? This? I'm just saying. What would have stopped the xenomorph coming to Earth? Some fucking government intervention. If we had a government, don't give me this. I don't want the government in my decision making. Yeah, well, no one wants a government in decision making until it's stopping a xenomorph from eating your child. Just saying.
Well done.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else on Alien Earth before we move on that we didn't touch on yet?
Yeah, excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So then we will flip the switch a bit over to the DCU for Peacemaker Season 2, Episodes 1 and 2. I guess we can start off with Episode 1, which basically answers the question immediately. How the hell was James Gunn going to deal with the Justice League situation and DCEU factor of this show, right? Because this show came out at a weird time where they were in between universes before they rebooted it. And the answer was pretty straight up. Guess what? We're just going to fucking retcon it, and you're going to just go with it, right? Because they do the previously on the DCEU, and they swap out the Zack Snyder, the DCEU Justice League scene at the end in the finale of Season 1 of Peacemaker, and they basically reshot it and entered in our current Superman, Supergirl, Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Terrific, Green Lantern, and Hawkgirl. And that was basically it. Just like, this is not the DC universe you were looking for. Jedi mind trick, and that's it. And just go with it.
And I think that's fine. What do we want him to do? He created the first season under one regime and then became the head of the second regime. And he's got to, it worked. You want to keep it. You don't want to scrap it. We don't want to fucking start over. I don't need Peacemaker season 1 redux already. So yeah, you just fucking retcon it. Who gives a shit? It's a comic book thing. That's exactly what the comic book would do. The comic book would go, hey, true believer, do you remember what happened last time? Well, shut the fuck up and accept our new reality.
I honestly thought, though, it was going to be played into the storyline with the whole interdimensional room thing. That's how I thought they were going to address it.
I did too.
But apparently I was wrong.
It's all right. You know,
yeah,
because there's no need to address it. That's why. But yeah, I was, when I saw the door, I thought that too. But I'm like, no, they're doing something. They're doing something way different with this door this season.
Oh no, they absolutely are. But they're still throughout these episodes, they do use James. Pretty much a lot of stuff James Gunn did with DC prior is basically canon. Everything else, not so much, right? Because they acknowledge the Suicide Squad, so that's canon. Peacemaker season 1 is canon, and that's it. Like everything else has kind of been shoved to the side, and we'll move on. I mean, I know there was some talk about Blue Beetle might be brought into this because remember we were told that was in flux also. That was brought in, and James Gunn really liked what they did, and they didn't really attach themselves to anything. So that can technically be saved if they want to. But we'll see what happens. But so this show basically picks up with the fallout of season 1 with a pretty big party at Christopher Smith's house that is just there because he's kind of sad and calls up a bunch of friends. And it's a big old orgy, Jason. It's a huge orgy.
Very kind of you to call it a party because it is an orgy with a capital O. At one point, Peacemaker's sitting on his couch, fully clothed, and there's just a couple fucking right next to him, and he's just sitting there drinking. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna shout out the orgy for this. They got regular looking actors in this orgy. They didn't get supermodels. This wasn't a gratuitous, hey, let's put hot fucking people. Let's get big tits and big dicks. They didn't do that. These were just normal people having a normal orgy with John Cena sitting in the living room watching or not watching. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. But I shout out the choice to make these real people and not like super hot actors or whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree with you with that. And it also lends itself to who would Peacemaker know? Like to be able to call over that. I mean, that question's not fully answered, but apparently it's not close friends of his. It's just people that he calls up, and we get full frontal, basically nudity constantly through this thing. They don't hold back at all in this. I did wonder if it was real at first because he was getting high and drinking. Like, remember, didn't he? Like, he snorted
you thought like
coke?
he was.
I thought it was a hallucination at first.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, but it's real because they're still there in the morning when he comes back.
Oh, in episode 2, they're still there. They're still going on about this, which I thought was funny though, because like in episode 2, him and the vigilante have a conversation with the orgy, like the remnants of the orgy in the background while they're talking, having a serious conversation.
It's so funny, and the character. I love what Gunn has done with the character of Vigilante, which, if I remember correctly, was just kind of a Punisher clone for the DC. Like, I don't like this is not the Vigilante of the comics, which I'm okay with. It doesn't need to be. This is better. But I love that he's like, oh sure, yeah, call me when I'm not mad or anything, but don't invite me to your party. Just call me when you have something, the problem you need help with. And then Chris is like, why do you always do that? Why don't you just say you're angry? Don't pretend you're not angry. I'm not angry, but maybe I would have liked to come to this orgy. And then Chris is like, no offense, but I didn't even think you liked sex. He's like, I don't like sex. I'm not a pervert. Sex is just a way to bond with your best friend. So bizarre.
It's so bizarre that he even weirds out Peacemaker at this point, where he's just like, oh well, no, that's not really how sex works. Nope, nope.
Yeah.
So in episode 1, though, like we see Peacemaker again, like they're the 11th Street kids are dealing with a lot of the fallback out of season 1. Peacemaker is not necessarily viewed as the hero by everyone that he kind of always been aspiring to be, and that will play out through the season based on what we see here. Harcourt is not in Argus or anything else. Basically, anyone who had anything to do with Amanda Waller, has been blacklisted, except for Economos, who is working for Argus under its new regime. And we have, name is skipping me. We just said it before. Adebayo. She's even starting her own like detective agency that's there. Vigilante is working in some sort of like food industry thing where we see him out back taking out the garbage at one point. Like this didn't really propel them the way that they thought it was going to. To the point though where Peacemaker is also trying to join the Justice King. He goes for an interview with Maxwell Lord and Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, and Hawkgirl. And they have this really funny interview thing where they're behind this whole glass and they're having this conversation where they're asking questions, but they're making the most snide remarks about him and talking massive shit about him right there.
But apparently they've been doing this to everyone.
Yes.
Because at the end, when they find out, they're like, oh shit, the things we were saying about that last one. Like, so apparently they were just doing this to everyone who comes in. And I love that there's a nice thing where he's like, so what are your skills? And Guy Gardner's like, besides sucking dick or something like that. And then later on, when he's venting about it, he's like, and being good at sucking dick is a compliment, damn you. So that was hysterical.
Yeah, they're really ragging on Peacemaker a bunch. And yeah, it is funny though that there were other interviews because we do also see that when Peacemaker is walking in, someone's leaving, and it's also apparently a lesser Batman villain, White Rabbit. We see her walking out.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah, she's walking out when he's walking in, and she's like pissed off and mortified and stuff like that from this interview session. So I thought that was also pretty funny that they, James Gunn once again picks a really obscure Batman villain to use as an Easter egg in the show.
That's all. I missed that. I didn't even know. And I'm the Batman guy. I gotta get more on top of this.
Yeah, so then that kind of sends him on his thing. He ends up going to this other. He takes over. We find out Chris has taken over his father's house, which is also where this interdimensional portal was that we saw in season 1. And he goes through it. He gets real fucking high one day. He strolls through there, and he ends up going into another dimension, which is one where we see he walks out of his father's house there, but then he sees his father, who in his mind is, he's obviously dead in his universe. And then he finds out that his brother is alive in this, which if you recall from season 1, his father basically made him kill his brother in this universe. But they're together in this alternate dimension where they're working together and they're like a superhero group. And everything's happy-go-lucky and everything like that. And
his dad's a great loving dad.
Yeah, not a KKK dude who's the White Dragon and all this other crap and like hates him and all this other stuff. Like they're the happiest people that can be. And in that universe, he's with Harcourt. And they have this they have a relationship there. So it's basically and he's treated as a hero in this other universe. And it's everything he's wanted. But then while he's checking this out, though, he ends up running into the Peacemaker of that universe. and he ends up accidentally killing him. And that's essentially where episode 1, ends there.
Yeah, that's a dark moment. When he's holding himself, which is literally how the episode ends.
No, it's a real. I mean, they go into it further in episode 2, but it is a real mind fuck for him because we know that, from what we've seen of our Peacemaker, he wants to be a hero badly, but everything's kind of like he just can't quite get there. But he's also, not 100% right. I mean, he has some serious fucked up shit going on with him. But his other universe, all of that's undone.
Right. Like, and I think, part of the big thing that is going to be his big fuck up that is already on spotlight for this season is killing Rick Flag Jr., right? Because that's part of the Rick Flag Sr. is gunning for him now. He's put Economos on to like watch his house. They've doubled the detail. They're getting like some spike whenever he goes through this door, which he is told about and he kind of disregards. But that, if you remember, because they do give that flashback when Flag is reading the report, and you get to see him say keeping the peace is worth even killing a hero like you, and then you get the like Peacemaker as he's dying. So I think that's there to remind us that this is Peacemaker's big fuck up. Because Waller told him to do this, but we now know about Waller. So I think that Peacemaker was not just at the life he wanted, was the man he wanted to be. Like, he wants to be a good guy, but, his impediment is he was raised by this raging narcissist, racist asshole, pitted against his brother, and he accidentally killed him, and pretty much fed the wrong morality of what the right thing was. This other Peacemaker got to have a loving father who didn't do that, a good relationship with his brother. Like, there's a moment where the brother's like, when he says, I love you. And he goes, you drunken asshole, I love you too. It was just such a real moment, but you could tell that he's got this good one. So this is kind of like what he could have been with the right circumstances that he didn't get. And now he's like, but now he has the opportunity to kind of step in there. And I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, this show is also doing a bit more heady stuff than I thought it was going to. I mean, granted, season 1 does, but I feel like season 2 feels like early on that it's going to take it to the next level with a lot of the stuff, like a lot of character exploration with Peacemaker. Also, too, like Harcourt is going through some shit too, where she can't get hired. She's been blacklisted by Waller. She can't get a job with anybody. She's dealing with some stuff, but she's also apparently going into bars and looking for fights and getting into some shit. And it's suggested at one point that maybe she's doing it on purpose, and obviously she kind of flips off Chris for even suggesting that and everything like that, because she's got makeup and she's covering up some stuff. There's even like a moment in episode 2 where she is buying the makeup and everything like that, and there's a woman who kind of like tries to help her out. I think she's kind of like in a domestic violence situation, and she's just like, "No, I don't want to be your mirror. Like, I'm not here for that shit." Like, no.
I was on her side with that because that woman just wouldn't let it go, and I get that woman was coming from a good place, but Harcourt was right. That's not her situation.
Yeah, you're putting that situation on her. Once she told you no, then. And then she keeps pushing it home, like, it's, sometimes we think it's okay and it's not okay and everything like that. And she's basically just like, eventually go fuck off. Like, get lost with that shit.
Something before we move off of the Harcourt bar thing, I think it's important. She's going in there not to get into a fight, but specifically, I think, to get her ass kicked. Like, she's not going in there looking just to beat the shit out of people. I think she's going out because she picks a fight in a bar full of like bikers with one of these bikers, and he's hitting on her and she's kind of being a dick, and he actually lets it go the first time, and everyone kind of chuckles. That's when that she really gets nasty, and I believe she gets physical first. And then like she takes on this entire bar, and when they throw her out, they throw her on the ground. You just see her smile. Like that's exactly, and she's bloody, the shit's beat out of her. But that's what she wanted, and so I think it's interesting. That's got to be going somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's more of the heady stuff that I think this show is also kind of dealing with a lot of them. Because I mean, obviously with Peacemaker, there's a lot of levels of his wish fulfillment in this other, dimension where he's not supposed to be going because he's being surveillanced by Argus now. Like you had mentioned, Rick Flag Sr., he's got his whole thing that's going on here. But Harcourt's got her own shit to deal with. And it seems to be mostly around like the two of them. Like Adebayo had her stuff in season 1, even though we do get her storyline so far. She's dealing with her ex, because now her and her girlfriend broke up, and she's not living there anymore and everything like that, and she has to go back there in episode 2. But that I feel like has been, that's something being set up for down the line. But a lot of it's focused on Peacemaker and Harcourt, at least early on. And also Economos is being put in a fucked up situation too, because he's working for Argus, but being asked to, prove his loyalty to Argus, while at the same time surveillancing his friends, which Argus is obviously using him as well, because they know he's got, the in with this crew and that he's going to get in there. And he ends up having a really funny scene with Tim Meadows, this character, which, by the way, I'm sure you felt the same way. It was a delight to see Tim Meadows in this.
Oh, absolutely! It's always a delight to see Tim Meadows, but what a weird character.
Oh yeah, I mean, my favorite thing about him early on is the bird blindness thing, which is completely nuts.
Which of course pays off.
Yes, it does. Yes, it sure does. Yeah, because they're doing a surveillance thing. He explains he has this, like, he can't tell the size of birds at all and everything like that, or anything about them. They're just birds, and that's it. And I guess if he reads it in a book, he can be told what it is, but he can't decipher it on his own.
But yeah, he can't tell how big a bird is or what type of bird it is.
Yeah, and he ends up leading a team. Like, they go into Chris's house to try to get to this like interdimensional thing once he steps out, and because the 11th Street kids are getting together for like a quick reunion thing, at Harcourt's place. And once the house is vacated, he ends up leading a team into the house to go look for it. But then, by the way, they also have a lot of funny shit that's being said between them.
Oh,
the nicknames.
He gives everyone a nickname. So what does he give Economos? Ginger Cool, and then Cupid Doll, Titties. Like, so inappropriate. And it's funny.
Mexicali is another one.
Mexicali. And then, like, look, you can't, everyone is like, you can't give us nicknames. And he's like, look, what do you want from me? Okay, I'm supposed to remember your name. I'm not going to remember your name. How do I know who you are? Titties, Mexicali. And then Cupid Doll was actually something else, but he's like, you know what? I'm knocking you down a peg. Now you're Cupid Doll.
Yes. I just wonder how much of that was ad-libbed, and also that scene when he's talking to Economos, and he mentions, like, he's making fun of Adrian Chase because he's like, oh, he looks like a nerd, and he's just like, well, he looks like he caught all the Pokemon. He's like, it's Pokemon.
Yes.
As well, yeah. Well, you learned that. I had 2 hot chicks sucking my dick, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And there's a post-credit.
Oh, is there?
No, there's both episodes had post-credit scenes, but they're more of like extended scenes of original stuff that's in here. And in episode 2, the post-credit scene is Economos asking a bunch of questions because he doesn't believe him about the whole 2 hot girls thing. He's like, yeah, well, where did this happen?
Right.
What were their names? And then once he starts answering his questions, he's like, what were they, like, super hot and everything like that? Like, he starts believing him by the end of the conversation. It's like, oh yeah, like, it's great. It's like, oh, okay. It's funny.
That's hysterical. That's funny.
But yeah, so he ends up leading his own little Argus team into the house, but they run into Eagle. eagerly defends the shit out of this house because he fucks them up. He rips out one of their fucking eyeballs. And a pretty like gory
People's
scene
eye.
for
Like
for this.
the theme of this week's GPT is taking an eye out because we see 2 eyes being removed.
It's true. Watch your eyes, boys and girls. Yeah, so Eagerly goes in and basically takes out the entire Argus team and defends the house, and it's pretty awesome to see because he kind of gets his shining moment here. But then we go back to the 11th Street kids getting together. They're catching up and yada yada and stuff there. But Chris and Harcourt, they have a moment, and she kind of also pushes back on him. He's asking some genuine questions there because apparently they also had hooked up, and Chris has got feelings for her, and she's kind of pushing it away. Right. That's throughout this. That's why he also has such dream fulfillment from the other dimension, because he's with Harcourt in that, or they were together or something like that. It's kind of needs to be kind of fleshed out, I think, a little bit. Maybe they had some. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we don't. There's a past, but they were clearly together.
Yes.
And it was clearly happy based on the pictures that he has in his phone, because he's going through the other Chris's phone.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're on right now, because because he does eventually text her at the end. He goes to the other universe, and she responds with a broken heart.
Yeah.
We don't know what that means.
Yes, that makes me wonder if that Chris broke up with her in that dimension. Maybe not. That's what I started to believe.
Yeah.
I wasn't so sure. But yeah, so he ends up like leaving the party. She leaves the party eventually. He leaves. He's getting fucked up, and then he goes back to the house. He sees that his whole house is thrown up into, shambles, and he thinks it's Eagerly just fucking around again. But you mentioned he gets the other Chris's phone, which he acquired because Vigilante or Adrian and Chris were basically cutting up the body of the dead Altered Dimensions Peacemaker, and they end up getting the phone, which is also really funny seeing that they chopped this dude up to throw him in an incinerator when they could have just thrown him in.
And because it's this gruesome scene, but cut to like a montage, like cutting the arm off. Well, the head fell out of the bag. Whoops! Like it's this comedic montage behind this grisly action.
Well, Peacemaker's being mortified because he's looking at himself. He's cutting himself up.
Yes.
But meanwhile, Adrian's like skipping around and mopping up and everything like that, and having a jolly old time while they're cutting him up.
He's
which makes it also he's completely out of his mind. But yeah, so he ends up texting Harcourt. It doesn't go through until he goes to the other dimension again, which signals things off, and to Argus, and then he goes to the other dimension, and that's kind of where it leaves off, because she answers the text back with the broken heart emoji, and that's where the episode ends, because he's with Eagerly over there. So I don't know. There's obviously going to be a lot of stuff where he's going to be there, and I'm sure there'll be a tug of war between, like, he's like, I can just go in his other dimension and be everything I've always wanted to be. But then, he's got his friends in his past, and there's all this other shit going on in his dimension that he has to deal with.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see where it goes, because they could play this so many ways. And I'm just very interested. And also, I didn't say this at the top, I love that we get Robert Patrick back, because he did die in the last season. So I didn't think we'd be seeing him again, but here he is. Fucking great actor. The T-2000, always in my heart. And I'm very happy that they brought him back.
Yeah. And like we mentioned, Tim Meadows.
And fun bit of trivia, which it comes from Ginny's husband, not me, so I'm going to give him credit. The guy, did you recognize the guy who played his brother?
Yes, I sure did. That's the dude from The Office. That was Pam was supposed to marry.
Yes, that's right. Jenna Fisher was married to James Gunn briefly.
Oh,
so now we have her real life ex and her on-screen ex.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Well, James Gunn is now married to Jennifer Holland, who is Harcourt.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know people complain about her because nepotism. I actually think she's really good. So
I think she is too. So yeah, James Gunn he's done all right apparently in his own personal life field with that. Not pretty good stuff, I'd say.
Yeah, no, this was great. And that's the thing. Like, you know me, I was reticent about Gunn taking over until I saw what he would do. But after Superman, there's like he can do it, and so now I'm just enjoying it. I'm just enjoying what he's giving us. This was fantastic. I want to see more. And I'm excited to see what he does with the whole kit and caboodle. I want to see the next movie. Like I'm on board now.
Yeah,
officially with everything he's doing.
Yeah, I will say, and I couldn't believe that we would be saying this probably at a certain point, but I mean, the DCU's in a good place. I think, you know, they're in a pretty good place right now. I think they're in good hands with James Gunn. You know, early on so far. But in my opinion, James Gunn has not missed with comic book material. Guardians of the Galaxy, 3 movies and a holiday special. You know, we're in second season of Peacemaker, which he's written. Creature Commandos, Superman. I mean, Suicide Squad. Like, this is his wheelhouse, man.
Yeah, exactly. This is where he belongs. So, because he understands the characters and he understands what aspects you need to keep and what aspects you need to change to make them relatable. And we saw it with Superman, right? Like the changes to the lore that work without changing Superman internally, right? Superman's a Boy Scout. Let's change other things around him to make him interesting. And so, you know, or even Vigilante, right? Vigilante, as I said, is like a Punisher clone. I've read some Vigilante because Alan Moore did some. And I just went through a tear. I read all the Alan Moore stuff. He's like a fucking stone cold killer, like the Punisher. Gunn knew, you know what? There's not enough Vigilante fans to care. Let's take that. He's still a stone cold killer, but let's give him a little twist. And then, you know, this is what we get. And it's great. It works.
No, agreed. All right. Is there anything else on Peacemaker before we wrap up that maybe we didn't touch on?
No, I think we got everything. I think we got everything I want to talk about.
So then that wraps it up for us then. This week, thanks for joining us as always. If you joined us on Facebook, be sure to check out the Granny's Peach Teas Facebook group where we share a bunch of memes and trailers and all this other stuff that doesn't make the show. So you can check us out there. Check out Pop Culture Pros and popculturepros.com because that's who we are presented by. On YouTube, subscribe to Pop Culture Pros and wherever you found your audio-only podcast. Jason and I, we will be back next week discussing episode 3 of Peacemaker and episode 5 of Alien Earth. And we will discuss all the line, but we may or may not have a movie. We will see. We were wrestling with something, so we will
figure it out.
Yeah, we will figure it out. So we'll definitely announce that when the time comes. So happy Labor Day. Enjoy the rest of the day. And we'll see you next week. Peace.
Later. Good.